As of now, we've had the chance to feature 3 different versions of the Mark 7 Golf, starting with the e-Golf, then the Golf All-Track, and the Rabbit GTI not too long ago. We're now looking at the big daddy when it comes to Golfs sold in North America. We've got Detective Pikachu behind us. Our snapshot is on this 2019 Golf R. It has pretty much everything you'd want out of a vehicle. It is configured with the DCT, also has the black styling package and the driver assist package. MSRP for this vehicle as configured, especially with that yellow paint job, is $49,050 Canadian. We're going to be going over what makes this car special and why I like it a whole lot more than we did with the GTI Rabbit. I mentioned this a couple months ago when we did the blue Rabbit GTI. I said that it is very dangerous to say anything negative about any Volkswagen product. And I was right, because we got a lot of hate for that video, besides the fact that I actually really liked the GTI. My only major complaint about that car was price. And we were basing it on the GLI, the Jetta. 2019 costs less. So that was our major complaint when it came to the GTI. And I hope you understand why we're talking about this one here, why I'm actually a lot happier with this, despite the fact that it costs pretty much $50,000 Canadian. Because at 50 grand, you have a little bit more going for it that actually makes it worth that price. It is pretty much Kia Stinger territory in terms of price, and that really is our top pick when it comes to a sports sedan, especially by 2019 standards. But at 50 grand, you do have quite a bit. This does have the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So the base MSRP with that transmission would be $43,895 Canadian. We do have the Ginster Yellow paint. It is a $29,95 option. And that's why I say it looks like Detective Pikachu, especially with the black trim here and there. I really love the color. I love yellow cars. We don't get enough of them here in Canada, and this is great. You also have the $1,565 driver assistance package that adds front assist emergency braking, park distance control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert with lane assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beams. You also have the $595 black styling package. It's not necessarily a need, but again, with this color combination, I think it looks really good. You have 19-inch Pretoria black alloy rims and carbon fiber mirror caps. Again, great look, awesome contrast with this car. I like it a whole lot. You get the dynamic chassis control with adaptive LED headlights, 4Motion, and sport seats when you jump up to the Golf R. On top of some other things that we did not get with the GTI, you have the digital cockpit, leather seating, and navigation built in. Plus, this car has more power. And with 4Motion, you have essentially a front wheel bias setup, but the ability to drive the rear wheels. So this could be a really good 4-season vehicle, using it 365 days out of the year. Now, we are going to be doing some testing with this. I actually am taking this car to Toronto. We're going to be attending a classic car show, an 80s and 90s show called Oblivion. I did post about it not too long ago on our YouTube post page thing. Nobody really looked at it. But the point is, we're going to be at that event this weekend. This video won't be out by the time we're at the event, so you actually won't be able to know about it. But the point is, I'm going to be taking this to Toronto. I'm going to be driving around a little bit in the city. We have another vehicle lined up that we're going to be filming while we're in Toronto. But the point is, I'm going to take it on a road trip, which is really the best way to find out how a car performs, handles, and drives. Because if you're going to buy this car, you're going to be spending more than a week with it. You're going to be spending more than 700 kilometers on a drive with it. So we're going to be going over absolutely everything you need to know if you're in the market for the $50,000 Golf R. We're in race mode, manual shift mode, traction and stability control off. Put your foot fully on the brake, put gas down. Whoa, Jesus. 100, woo. I think that was, like, they're supposed to do this in 4.6 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. That didn't feel like 4.6 seconds. That felt way quicker. Holy, that was fun. This car, so much fun. And it's funny because I was talking with an owner. He has a Golf R, and he said he wasn't not disappointed with the car, but it wasn't necessarily the off-the-rails experience that he was hoping for. And it's true. This does feel a little bit more grown up than what you might expect out of a hot hatchback. And I mean, this is a hot hatchback. Not as hot as the Ford Focus RS, which has 350 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. At 288 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, this isn't bad. Now keep in mind, it is different depending on which market you're in. So 288 for us, I know that you can get 296 horsepower in the European market, and I think there's even like a 300 plus now version for 2019 in some markets. We don't get that here, we just get this version of the tune. I think it's still more than enough, especially with Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive. You can use it year-round. You've got tons of traction when you need it. And like you saw there, it launched flawlessly, especially around 4,200 RPM, I think is about what it got up to. We were trying that with something like the Jetta GLI or even the GTI. You got a lot of tire squeal coming out of that around that point. But I'll do it again for you because I just enjoy doing it. Foot on the brake, maximum launch. Holy man. Oh, 100. Like, this thing is so quick off the line. It's ridiculous. If I wasn't taking it to Toronto this week, I'm telling you to have a lot of fun with it here. But it's going to be good to talk about it on the road, feeling how it works really on a long-term distance, especially a small car like this. I mean, we did the Kia Stinger on the same trip to Toronto, so I know how that feels. And I love this Stinger. I mean, this is really Stinger territory. I know that most people who are looking for a hot hatchback aren't going to be then also looking at something like the Kia Stinger. But if you're looking for a four-door vehicle, needs to have about a 4.60 to 100 kilometer time, space for you and your family and luggage and stuff, and a unique looking vehicle, then you want something like this or the Stinger. Now I know you can say, well, this isn't really very unique. It's very similar to pretty much any other Mark 7 Golf out there. But people can tell. I mean, the front R grille and everything definitely gives this away that this isn't just your typical Golf TSI. You have a lot more going on for it. So people will notice it, especially in this color. Whether you pronounce it Ginster or Ginster, I don't care what you call it, but it is a great color. A throwback to the Mark III Golf. I mean, finding one of those today would be fantastic. You can't really find them, especially in that color. Just nobody has them. But what can you do? Now we're going to take it around a bit of a corner here. There's some traffic. But man, this thing grips like crazy. Oh, and it just pulls so well. Absolutely love it. And that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people got upset with me about the GTI video, right? I loved the Rabbit GTI. There were like two major things: price and that cheap sticker on the back. Plus, you know, you really should be able to throw in navigation, especially for that price point. But that was my major complaint, was just price. The car was great to drive. I enjoyed driving it. I spent a lot of time with it. And same thing here. I mean, this car is really expensive at $49,050 Canadian. This is the most expensive you can get when it comes to a Golf. And I mean, it's a lot of money. Yes, you could skip the black trim package, get rid of the mirror caps and the rims, so you can save some cash there. Do you need the driver assistance package? Not really, but it is nice to have active cruise control, especially on a long distance drive like I'm doing. And then a lot of people are not going to option the DSG. They're going to go for the 6-speed manual over this 7-speed dual clutch. But the thing is, there's so much power going through that clutch, it's not really feasible for a long-term vehicle. I've heard that from a number of people, especially people at Volkswagen. That's the reason why they did not put this as a manual, because it's just cost. It costs so much money to be replacing that clutch all the time because there's so much power going through the 4Motion system. So it makes sense. If you want a long-term, more reliable version of this, get the DSG. If you want to roll your own gears, then go for it. You just have to keep in mind that the maintenance is going to be a little bit higher because you are going to be wearing out the clutch. Even if you're the best driver on the world, it's just a lot of power going through this little tiny car. So keep that in mind. I like having it in the DSG. It shifts so smooth. You do have a little bit of the low speed issues that we talked about with a number of the other vehicles so far from Volkswagen. You get used to it. It acts a lot like a manual anyway. So it's not necessarily a big issue, but you know, if you're coming from a regular automatic, it will feel slightly different. But I really do like the DSG. I like everything about it. I'm really happy with it. I don't have a whole lot of complaints. At 50 grand, like I said, we're looking at the Kia Stinger. And if I had to choose between the 2019 Kia Stinger GT Limited and this, it's not an easy choice for me. Usually I already know. I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to buy one or the other. I already have it in my mind. But honestly, between those two cars, it's hard for me to decide because I like both of them. The Stinger's unique. You don't see a lot of them on the road. But then again, almost every Stinger you see on the road is a GT Limited, right? Whereas most of the Golfs you see on the road are either just the regular ones, a lot of e-Golfs here in Quebec, or GTI. So you don't see a lot of Golf R. So when you see one, it is special, especially in this color. But I really can't knock this car for the price because you're getting exactly what you're paying for. It is performance. Yeah, the dashboard, not very premium. I know a lot of people say it is. This is not a premium interior. Yeah, you have a navigation system and dual zone climate, heated front seats, and the digital cluster. It's a gorgeous display, but it's not a premium experience. Don't get premium confused with what's nice. This is certainly premium over a Mark III Golf, but it's not premium compared to other things that cost 50 grand. And to be fair, neither is the Kia Stinger. It's one of the complaints that we had about that car, that they've just kind of cheaped out some areas like the dashboard, much like this, where if they did kind of upgrade the material a little bit, it would feel more premium. Same thing with this. I like the car for what it is. You just have to be aware, yeah, at 50 grand, you can get some other vehicles out there. But there's not a lot else that I would really rather take. You can get a base model 3 Series or 4 Series BMW, but what's the fun in that? 255 horsepower? Out of that, it's not very fun compared to this because it is a small car. So 288 doesn't sound overly impressive, but it depends on what you're comparing it to. In a Golf, it's fantastic. Now, one thing you might be disappointed in, it's something that we talk about often when it comes to these performance-oriented cars, especially now that engines are getting so small, yet the performance is still staying high up, they are faking the sound on it, and that's okay. It does say it pretty clearly when you put the car into race mode. There is a menu system to tell you that it is faking the engine sound, and for me, that's okay. I expect that on these cars these days. I think it sounds really, really good, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? You're enjoying it. You want to have something that makes you feel right, and if it's not, if you don't feel something in the bottom of your gut every time you drive this car, then you probably bought the wrong car. And just because they're faking the engine noise a little bit, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Fuel economy is still important even for a Golf R. We did a number of tests given how much driving we did. We did our 100-kilometer test loop in eco mode with an average of 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers or 34.6 US miles per gallon. We did the test loop again in race mode with manual shifting and got up to 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers or 27.8 mpg. And we rounded off our 1,670 kilometer week at 8.6 liters per 100 kilometers or 27.4 mpg. Pretty good numbers for a quick little all-wheel drive hatchback. When it comes to our likes and dislikes though, we're pretty much where we were a couple months back with the Rapid GTI. The R styling is handsome and sporty without being over the top. Interior seat comfort was good on long distances with the leather facing and lumbar support. Volkswagen's digital cockpit is also a nice tech feature to have in this segment, along with the adaptive LED headlights keeping us safe during our early morning drives. Finally, the overall driving experience on the Golf R is incredible, whether it's the on-rails handling, grunty exhaust notes, or serious launch control capabilities with its 4Motion system. The Golf R performed above and beyond what we expected and kept us smiling the entire time. As for dislikes, we don't have much, but again follow suit from the GTI. I will add price to this, though like the GTI you can option it without as many features to get the MSRP closer to $43,000 Canadian. However, at $49,000 fully loaded, we're looking at Kia Stinger money without Kia Stinger space or size. Both cars are supposed to do 0 to 100 kilometers within a tenth of a second of each other, but the Stinger feels like better value for what you get out of it. I was also disappointed with the lack of ambient lighting, only 2 strips of blue lights along either front door and the front door sills. The e-Golf had much more customization, and once again a vehicle like the Jetta GLI exceeds our expectation for ambient light control in this segment. I imagine the Mark 8 Golf would have this feature though, but again at this price I'd like to see what the e-Golf has. But that's about it. The Golf R comes with Continental tires over the Eco Performance Pirelli tires from the Rapid GTI, and option-wise you pretty much get the fully loaded experience of the Golf with the R. So those 2 complaints aren't an issue with this car. Honestly, I had a lot of fun driving it to and through Toronto, and it's partially due to that excellent Ginster Yellow paint. If you're going to buy a Golf R, you might as well get a flashy, unique color like this one.